Well, let's focus on a couple of names then from the pharma pack. We have Vishal Manchanda from Systematix who joins in. Hi, Vishal. Good morning. Good to see you in, Vishal. I wanted to focus on auto pharma. Yesterday, the stock got clobbered. And now, in fact, we have the Unit 7 as well, observations that are coming. What do you make of it? And how would you approach the stock? Yesterday, I think it was down close to on 7%.
Right. I think we are seeing two facilities getting inspected back to back. So it was Unit 3 earlier, and they got observations there, and likewise Unit 7 is also a large facility for them. But I think that's part of being in the US business. You will keep getting Form 483 observations, and I think that's the way the US business usually would turn out. Maybe it's you can't really comment on how the observations are and what impact these observations would have. But I think given Aurobindo's track record in terms of managing their facilities for so long, they have never seen so I think they at worst, I think they've seen OAIs in their history. And I think large part of the growth that Aurobindo is looking at in the next 1 year is going to come from their Pen-G business. US probably is not that important imminently for them.
Got that. Vishal, hi, morning. Can you give us an overall synopsis, analysis of how the Q3 earnings season has been so far for the Indian pharma, healthcare, hospitality space? What were the big trends that stood out, which you can take forward?
So you mean the pharmaceuticals or the...
No, across the different bracket segments, for pharma, for in the domestic side, for healthcare,
right,
hospital, yeah.
So I think on the pharma side, specifically a few companies have done well on the IPM business, Indian pharmaceutical markets. So Sun, Ajanta Pharma, Dr. Reddy's, and Zydus. These are few names that have done extraordinarily well, especially Sun Pharma, which has grown 16% on a YOY basis. While I think many of these companies have also been dependent on acquisitions and licensing for bringing that growth. Apart from that, I think US business largely has been kind of a mixed bag. So a few companies have outperformed expectations, while a few have underperformed. Like Cipla has underperformed expectations. Zydus did better than expectation. Even Reddy's did better than expectations on the US business. But I think US is probably, if you look at the near to medium term, that may be on a downturn. The US generic business will be on downturn for most months.
And on the India-US trade deal, because that is contingent on the investigation of under Section 232, whether we get that preferential treatment for Indian generic companies. How are you? Yeah, go ahead.
I think so. Right now we are exempt, and then I think the 232 investigations. So we have been hearing on that for a while. So that remains an overhang. But if you look at generics, and if you look at US, so I don't think US kind of has an option, but has no other option but to kind of keep outsourcing generic drugs from other countries. They can only diversify their sourcing, like reduce their over dependence on India. Tariffs are unlikely to serve any purpose here. It's going to be a long-term mandate that US has to execute in terms of de-risking their dependence, de-risking in terms of their dependence. So India, probably they're over-dependent on India, they're over-dependent on China. But that's going to be a gradual process through which they can manage their risks.
All right, we'll leave it there, Vishal. Thank you very much for joining us. Good speaking with you, and appreciate your time here on CNBC TV18.